Good afternoon. My name is Carl Scott. I am principal here at Westside Leadership Academy. And I'm here with some students and Dr. McGee for Safe School Week. And we're going to have a quick forum and discuss what it means for our students and our partner. So, Dr. McGee, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. Northwest Indiana and Chicago area. I'm Mike McGee. I'm an ER doc at Methodist Hospital in Gary and Maryville. But I'm also the founder of POP, which is Project Outreach Prevention, and the national chair for 100 Black Men of Americas, which is a mentoring group that's all over the country in almost every city. I'm their chairman for violence prevention. And the last hat I wear is I'm also the national chair for the American College of Emergency Physicians Firearm Violence and Injury Prevention Committee. So I'm doing a lot of different things all over the country to try to prevent violence and also preach about gun or firearm safety and education. So it's a pleasure to be here at Westside. Thank you so much, Principal Scott.
Thank you, Dr. McGee. Our students, our outstanding student representatives, we'll let you introduce yourselves and please tell us your name and your grade.
Hello everyone, my name is Quincy Williams. I'm a senior here at Westside. I am a scholar student athlete, three-sport athlete, and I'm happy to be here.
My name is Derek Mister, and I'm a senior here at Westside.
My name is Ashton Harris. I'm a junior here at Westside.
All right, so we'll start with a few questions, and I'll have some questions for both Dr. McGee and students. Dr. McGee, what is Safe Schools Week, if you could tell us?
Before we get into that, can we quickly tell what colleges you guys are going to? Some exciting news that I learned about today. Starting with Quincy.
Just earlier today, I got accepted into Southern University as well as Alcorn University, but I'm leaning more towards like Texas, so I would love to go to Texas Southern or Prairie View to major in nursing.
HBCUs.
Yes,
Congrats.
HBCUs.
Nursing. Love it.
Congratulations.
And me, I'm committed to play football at the University of Minnesota.
Congratulations.
Next pro NFL player coming soon here at Westside and Gary. So Safe Schools Week. So let me back up 1 second. The reason why we're even doing any events is because POP, Project Outreach Prevention, along with PATH, which is positive attitudes for teen health. Basically, we received a grant with the Department of Justice, OJJDP. This grant is for 3 years, and we're targeting 4 high schools in 4 different cities. That being Gary Westside, Maryville High School, East Chicago Central, and Hammond Central. And 2 of the things that we're doing are, one is best practices for where we're trying to go into the schools and have educational seminars with all the different grades on Bofkin's life skills. It's best practices for not only preventing violence, but also preventing bad behavior such as using drugs, alcohol, and all the things that can harm a youth's life. The other part of that is the best practice program that we're trying to convince students to be involved with is a program called SAVE, which is Students Against Violence Everywhere. And it's a program that's peer-to-peer, online, and it teaches youth how to be leaders at their school to prevent violence and have their own seminars about violence and do all the different things to prevent violence for the underclassmen. And so our grant also has events that we have to do. Just this spring, we were here at Westside in multiple cities, multiple schools in Chicago, as well as Northwest Indiana for our National Youth Violence Prevention Tour. And now we're back again to have Safe Schools Week. Safe Schools Week started in 1984, and it was basically bringing attention to the continuous problem of school violence, but also trying to get students, the community, and parents to be involved to see what they can do to help prevent violence and encourage students to be good stewards on preventing violence. So this is the 3rd week. It's usually the 3rd week of October, and this is the first time we ever had this in Northwest Indiana. So we're here, and we have all the other 4 schools involved as well. So we're very happy to be here at Westside. And by the way, Westside is the only school out of the 4 where we actually are on site, and the students had a full participation, which is what we did today. So thank you.
Thank you. And it's important as we look to curb the violence within the city, within the schools, that we have forums like this. So if you can explain to us what's the purpose of the rally, and why is it important to have multiple organizations and multiple cities involved in the gun turn-in program?
So this is the flyer that we had made up, basically. And this flyer is twofold. One, the purpose of the rally, again, is to bring attention to violence in the schools. But also, we all know that the laws have changed since COVID hit, when we were all shut in. Liquor stores were open, the weed man was open, and the drug stores was open, but most importantly, the gun stores were open. So we had an abundance of people buying guns, but also drinking and having bad behavior, which has led to an increase in domestic violence, an increase in suicide, and for sure an increase in homicides. And so now we already know that we're not going to prevent people from getting guns. Now we have to change our strategies and try to get people to be safer with their guns. Just yesterday, I read about a 23-year-old man in Atlanta who was sleeping with his gun under his pillow and woke up and his 2-year-old son, who was lying right next to him, died because he got shot in the head when a gun misfired. And so there are a lot of people out here that have guns, but then they also have guns that are loaded and not locked up. And so kids, youth, teenagers know where these guns are. And so we're basically trying to encourage everybody, try not to have a gun, but if you have a gun, be responsible and be safe with your guns and lock your guns up. There's some really nice, lock boxes that you can use now to put your gun in, and it can be loaded, and it only has your biometrics with your fingerprints. And so we're trying to encourage everybody in all these different 4 communities to come together to do this. In addition, and then I'll be done, we're also having an event in Maryville where we're going to have Maryville students, but also we're going to have ambassadors and student leaders to come from all the other 4 schools to participate. We're doing this with Power 92, which is a radio station. We're going to have the DJs come out. We're having Project Swish, which is a organization in Chicago that has night basketball games for youth and young men and all the bad or dangerous communities to get them off the street so that you have less violence. And the founder of Project Swish is 23. He has a testimony. He's going to be one of our keynote speakers. We also partnered with the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement to come out and say some words. Today, here at Westside, we had Officer Derek Cannon, who is a member of ATF, which deals specifically with guns. And he's a federal agent. So he gave some very worthwhile advice to the youth. And most importantly, what we're doing for all of next week is we partnered with 4 different police departments: Gary, Maryville, Hammond, and East Chicago. And on this flyer are all the addresses, and we're encouraging the community to turn their guns in, to be responsible, to recognize, hey, you don't need 4 and 5 guns in your home. Take your guns and turn it in, and then you can also be in our raffle. We're trying to have a raffle prize of $1,000, giving away a couple Chicago Bulls tickets. We're going to have gas cards and cash cards to give away, and we encourage any and everybody. And all the students are going to be the ones who's going to be telling their parents, the friends of their parents. They're going to have orange flyers that says gun safety and be safe with your guns. They're going to take all these flyers home to all their communities and to their parents, and it's going to be on all the social media for the school. So we encourage about it. And our biggest thing is we want you to protect your family, your kids, and lock your guns up.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So for our students, what did you learn at the gun safety rally today?
Oh, well, me personally, I learned how to stop a bleeding whenever anybody is shot or put in a situation where they're bleeding.
Yes, I learned to immediately call 911 while you're also helping the person. Like if you're stopping the bleed, if you have people around you that can help, you could call 911 and calm the person down to make sure and to let them know that everything's going to be okay.
I would say I learned that you have to make sure that you're safe before anything. Before you try to save someone, you have to make sure that there's no more shooting, nothing else is going on. Then you can proceed to help someone else.
Principal Scott, they're basically outlining. One of the things that we do when Obama was president, he had a big initiative for any and everyone to go out and teach any and everyone how to stop the bleed. So we've been doing that, since our organization has been in existence. So today, these were 3 of our helpers who came on board. They learned the procedure and they helped every class, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th graders, how to stop the bleed. And so they just told you the importance of that. I'm just curious as what else did you guys learn? We talked about other stuff. There was some statistics we talked about. There was the main reason for why people are being shot nowadays. And you also saw the students who raised their hand when I asked them they knew somebody who's been shot or killed from gun violence. Almost 85% of each of the classes raised their hand. What do you guys feel about the epidemic of gun violence and how has it affected any of your lives?
I don't like it at all. I mean, I feel like it's really sad because I lost multiple classmates to gun violence, and I just wish I could see, all of us graduate together, but the gun violence just has to stop.
It's pretty sad to think that some people can't graduate high school because of a stupid mistake somebody else made, or because somebody can walk into a store and just buy a gun. It's kind of hard to walk around your neighborhood knowing that at any given time you could just get shot and your life could be over. So it's kind of important that we're doing stuff like this to lower that percentage.
Well said.
I feel like both of them have said mainly what it is. It's scary that you don't really know. Everyone has a gun nowadays. You don't know who doesn't. So at any point, you couldn't even be around it and you could get shot. So the scary thing is at any point, at any time, you could be in danger.
And he's 100% correct, Principal Scott. The laws changed in Indiana, and we have about maybe 20 cities where now you can be 18 and carry a gun without a permit. So now you got to be careful. I even tell my wife, I said, look, you get into a road rage, don't even make a finger at somebody because you don't know if they'll get upset and just shoot you because you made a finger. Yeah. If you get into an argument in a movie theater or at a grocery store, just let it go. And that's kind of like what we preached today was, hey, the best way to not be involved in a violent act or get shot yourself is to avoid it. And sometimes, even if you're a good fighter, if you're a big guy like yourself, De'Eric, you even got to avoid those things because a big guy like you, these guys won't even try to fight you. They'll pull out a gun and just shoot you. And then you, who could be an NFL player, will have your life snatched away. We've had several NFL football players and basketball players being shot. So we just got to be careful, and that's what we're trying to preach, that everybody should do their part and be civil towards each other and try to avoid situations that can lead to a fight, which leads to a gunshot.
And so I echo those sentiments. I do want to ask our students, as student leaders, what will you do to prevent the violence in your school and in your communities?
I'll encourage my peers and my classmates as well as my teammates to do the right thing, go straight home after practice, to avoid any conflict. If you know that you're not supposed to be out in the streets after dark, or if you know that you don't get along too well with this person or that person, just keep your distance and do what you got to do. Stay in your own lane. Get the job done.
Well said.
I feel like the best way is to lead by example. So before we tell anyone else, we have to make sure we getting home safe. You have to make sure that your closer ones is safe. I feel like the best way is make sure your friends, they know, hey, bro, it's getting rough outside. You need to get home. Just make sure all your loved ones are okay.
I agree with kind of what Ashton said with leading by example and stuff, and just showing, like, I play football, I play different sports, I have a lot of different groups in the school. Show them that it's more than to just fight. Sometimes you have to ignore people and just let bygones be bygones and walk away.
Yeah.
Agree. 100%.
Yeah, I do agree. I think it rests in the hands of our students to change some of the not only perceptions, but what happens here in the school and violence and how we all are together in the community here in the school and outside in our surrounding communities. And so, I will charge you with that And I will ask us to take those words and as we leave, that we actually go and implement those things, because that's how change happens.
And Principal Scott, that's a segue into what they can do, which is join the organization that we're trying to get youth to be involved with, which is SAVE, Students Against Violence Everywhere. And this is basically a program that started in 1989 after a student was in a fight and was trying to break up, another student was trying to break up a fight, and Alex Orange is a young man who was black who got shot while breaking up a fight at a school. And then a teacher and a student started the program called SAVE. And so now there are multiple different chapters and organizations all across the country, but Indiana and Chicago did not have any SAVE programs. And so we're trying to get youth to recognize, hey, you can take ownership, you can do your part, especially, you know, the athletes and the people who are popular, they're the ones that the other kids look up to. So we can get them to say, hey, instead of taking your phone out and taking a picture of the fight that's about to begin, you can now break up the fight before it begins. And so then now you save their life, because we don't know what could have happened after school or on the weekend, because now it's going to escalate and somebody may get shot. And so that's kind of like what we're trying to encourage for all students at every school that we're involved with. We want to start SAVE ambassadors, and these kids can basically work with us. We're going to do some virtual meetings. We're going to tell them about other events we're going to have going on. They can get extra credit, which they need to graduate anyway, for doing community service. It teaches you how to do your own fundraisers. It teaches you how to do community service events. So it teaches you how to be not only a good leader to prevent violence, but then when you apply into college and all these other places and even other jobs, they love the fact that, hey, you were out here trying to prevent violence, because everyone knows that violence is widespread. So if you're taking up that responsibility and you're getting all the kids, and you change the whole culture of the whole school.
Yeah.
Because right now, kids everywhere, the minute a fight happens, what do? Pull out their phones, they start texting and sending it out to everybody, and then it escalates. So let's say if everybody was a SAVE member, when the fight is about to begin, 5 of your friends and 5 of their friends just break it up, and it's a done deal. And it's not even happening, and it's over. Yeah. Mr. Scott and all the other principals and teachers will be very happy if we can have that here. And we plan to put Westside on the mantle and have you guys be the leaders for all the other schools. So we're hoping that you guys, and all of you guys did sign up, but we think that you guys can really be a good benefit and effort for what we're trying to do. So thank you guys.
Yeah, definitely. How important do we think that it is to be a SAVE member, if I could ask you?
I think it's very important because, you know, the younger students, like you said, they need somebody to look up to. They need somebody, you know, to hold them accountable. They need somebody, you know, to lean on, you know, and I feel like we are the best students to do that, to get the job done and to send out the right message, to do the right thing.
Agree.
I agree. I think it's great. It gives a type of structure to show that it's not okay to fight and create more problems. It shows that it's okay to walk away or ignore things or stop the fight when it's happening, instead of like what Dr. McGee said, and sit there and record.
Right.
I completely agree. I feel like if everybody, like you said, 5 of their friends, 5 of your friends, everyone knows to break it up. It won't even be a fight anymore. Everyone knows you just shouldn't be doing this. Why do you have to take it to violence?
So to that end, I heard about this challenge that happened last year, and I need a little bit more information if you could, because I want to know what can we do to curb violence here in the school. You know, I would rather see students in school than out of school. That is my objective, is to keep you here rather than send you home for extended periods of time. And so if you can elaborate about the challenge.
Sure.
And then some feedback from our students in terms of how that went and what we think about it moving forward.
Well, Quincy and Derek can basically talk about it because they were the 11th grade class that won. So last year, and I don't think you had gotten here yet, this is right after spring break, the day back from spring break, and this is after spring break, everybody's supposed to come back in a good mood. I think there are about 8 or 9 fights. And again, I always like to say it's not just Westside. And I interact with all these schools across the country through 100 Black Men, and it's happening in every school. When you ask during COVID, kids were not fighting, but they was on social media. And so everybody got teed off, and there was beefs that they started when they got back to school because people were being, tough on social media. So now the first thing they do when they see each other, they start fights, and it just escalated all throughout the year. And so now during this time, and then also, the mental, incapacity and being locked in, it caused a profound effect upon not only youth but adults. And some of us still haven't bounced back because a lot of us still haven't gotten any help or any assistance with any mental anguish we may have had, or even losing a grandparent to COVID and not being able to bury them. Those are things that we forget. There's so many different things that happened that profoundly affected us during COVID that's kind of like had a lot to do with why kids and youth and adults are all on edge. Everybody is ready to easily triggered. And it's all because of everything we just gone through for the past 2.5 years. And so we came in 2 days later, and I basically addressed the youth, and I said, hey guys, I have a challenge. And by the way, this challenge or incentive that I came up with wasn't my idea. It came from SAVE. SAVE teaches you incentives for how to get kids to buy into what's important. And so I came in and said, hey, I will give $1,000 to the class, 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th grade, that has the greatest reductions in fights or bullying incidents over the past 3 weeks. And not only that, you'll win a pizza party, and you will also, be recognized at our violence prevention tour that we did. And so everybody started making up poster boards. They started broadcasting on the intercoms, different stats. And so everybody bought into it. And so after 3 weeks, the winners were the 11th grade, which is your class, and they had a 100% reduction in fights. So they had 0 fights. And before that, they had a high percentage of fights. But then not only that, because the other students were trying to win the $1,000, they all decreased their fighting. So the overall total reduction was 68% reduction. And so I've been telling students and other schools about this, and a lot of other schools want to adopt it. And so we're looking at trying to do this again before a longer period of time. And so it's just an incentive. And you can easily do other stuff. It don't have to be monetary. It can be, hey, Principal Scott's going to let you guys have a DJ come in a month if you guys can not have a fight. He's going to bring in a well-known alumni who's going to come in, who could be, somebody on the Sky basketball team, or somebody that you guys may know who will excite you guys. So that's kind of like the concept behind doing this. You basically get the students' attention, then you got their attention. And then now you can deliver a good message, and now they'll all buy into it. So that's what we did.
Well, thank you. I'm really intrigued. What was the impact? What do we feel the impact was as students?
I feel like it was very good. Like my class, we look at ourselves as the best class. Class of 2023 is the best. So we really took that challenge and ran with it. So I know me personally, me and a few other friends came together and was like, okay, like they're challenging us. Let's show them what we could do. Let's show them that Westside isn't as bad as everybody makes our school out to be, So, we got a few underclassmen on boards, like the sophomore class, which is the junior class now, also decreased in fights. So, it just takes a few leaders to start something. So that's what we did.
100%.
It was definitely an impact. You see the school had calmed down. There wasn't as many fights, and just the overall energy was better. So it really helped push the school to become better.
And even though my class of 2024 didn't win, I still feel like even though we didn't win, we still looked at it as, okay, if the 11th graders can do it, us 10th graders at the time, we can do it too. So even though we didn't win, our fights did decrease as much as freshmen and also the seniors.
Yeah.
All right.
They did awesome. It was pretty amazing. It just shows you that it can be done, right? You just got to put your thoughts in the right place, and then have the school support and the adults who support. And that's what we're going to work on this year as well. And you guys got to also think, if we can get this in play here, and then also start with the junior high schools and the elementary schools, starting their own SAVE ambassador program, by the time they get to junior high and high school, they already know what the process is. They'll be better at what they're doing and display more unity. So that's the overall goal. And for the things that's going on in Chicago and all the other cities, don't ever think that Westside is the only school where this stuff is happening at, because I think you guys have done an amazing job for what you guys have done. Kids are coming off a 2-year break where they didn't even see each other. So there's a lot of pent up frustrations, a lot of energy. And so that's a challenge. And it was happening at every school. So I think now we're on to something. Pop and Path are going to be here. We're going to be supportive. We're going to be having career days. I got a program for kids who want to be doctors, dentists, nurses, but also kids who want to go into law, becoming a detective, law enforcement, an attorney. So we're going to be bringing all those things here. And that's what the SAVE students are going to be kind of like our extension. So they'll be telling all the other students about the amazing events that we're trying to do, because it's just Dr. McGee. I can't be out here doing this on a daily basis. That's why it's better if we can interact with you guys, do some Zoom meetings, and we're gonna basically get everybody to be on board, including my alma mater, which is Williams Elementary. They're next to be one of the schools that we're gonna be challenging to start SAVE programs as well.
Oh, all right. Well, I am really intrigued. I'm ready to get a challenge started. So let me know, and we're ready. I always like to take people's money. so let's make them pay some money.
Senior class ready.
All right, let's go.
do it.
Let's do it.
All righty. Thank you so much. All right, and pause up, Cougars.